Hey guys, welcome back to Coin Knowledge. So today we're going to be talking about a gaming project, one that is a vast ecosystem and that I think is doing nothing but bullish updates recently. It is one that we have talked about for quite some time on the channel, but I do think with the events that they've done recently, within their ecosystem, projects that they're incorporated with, influencers behind them, and really just the whole ecosystem, I think is going to set itself up for major success this cycle. And as always, guys, if you guys get value out of the content here, if you could subscribe to the channel and like the video, your support means everything. Now, if we take a look at the gaming sector, gaming's one that we've hit hard on the channel, throughout the cycle for the last several years here, because it's one that I'm personally very bullish on. I do still have major conviction, even throughout the summer where gaming took kind of a seat on the back burner, within the narratives here. We see that gaming is now picking up. If you look over the 30-day, we can see that gaming is up about a 2x as far as the overall market cap of the gaming sector. It still only sits at 35 billion, which I know that sounds like a lot, but for something like a meme coin like Shiba Inu or Doge, that sits over 50 billion and even higher at the height of the last cycle, for the whole market cap of the gaming sector to sit at 35 billion is, to me, still undervalued. And I think there's a lot of room for growth here in the sector, especially when we look across the space. We're seeing gaming projects, up over 50% over the 7-day, but over the 30-day, we're seeing a lot of gaming projects, 2 to 5x, pretty quickly here, in the gaming sector. And as the cycle continues, I do think that gaming still has a lot of room left to run. I don't think we've seen that major catalyst for the gaming sector. There's some speculation that Off the Grid, with Off the Grid's full release, and if they launch, when they launch their gun token, the amount of liquidity injection that's going to be put into the gaming ecosystem and attention into the gaming space is going to be insane. We're seeing metaverse projects, pop off again, and there's major games. There's always a rumor of GTA 5 or GTA 6 next year releasing some kind of crypto implement into its game, which would be massive for the space. Now, that's just an overall, recap on why we're bullish on crypto gaming here. And when we look at utilities and applications, it just makes sense. People are already spending money in, Web 2 games as far as Call of Duty skins. Now, imagine if you own that. Now, again, that's a whole rant I don't want to get into here, but that is why we're bullish on gaming. Always like to recap that. Now, the project we're talking about today is Sidus Heroes. Yes, this is one that we've talked about quite often, but, going back to that, seeing, a lot of recent gaming projects respond well over the 30-day, we can take a look at Sidus Hero. Now, they do have their dual token economy here, where they have the Sidus token, kind of like the utility token in their ecosystem. It is up about 70% on the 1 month, and then they have their Senate token, which is a lot lower in market cap, up 90% on the 1 month. I think it even did a 2x here, at the peak of it, within the last 30 days. It got all the way up to like an $11 million market cap, all the way down from a $5 million. So it did go ahead and do over 100% move in the 30 days here. Now, a couple updates for their ecosystem. As always, if you're not familiar with what they do, they are, this project is, they were around at the tail end of last cycle. It's one that we've covered throughout the bear market, especially since, we saw last year at the end of 2023 Q4 when gaming really took off. We saw Sidus, just their main token Sidus, go from a sub $10 million market cap all the way to about $130 million market cap. And when we look at their Senate token, similar kind of growth. This thing went from just honestly like a couple million all the way up to, I think, like a $32 million market cap. So almost like a 30x there. It was pretty insane. And I still think that this project is undervalued because, again, with what they are building here, you can take a look. They do have like their Web3 gaming metaverse, but a lot of people still to this day, I still get questions on if Sidus Heroes just building the one game, where they're not. They're incorporated into so many other things in their ecosystem. One that we'll talk about here in a little bit that we've talked about in the past is Ton Station, but they also have their Sidus Maze, Zena, like a mobile game. They have their Sidus Pad, which we covered when that launched, I believe, earlier this year, which brings more utility to the Sidus token and the Senate token as far as new launches going into their ecosystem. And again, you see all the different games here that they have building as well. Right now, they're hitting Jumpin' or Ton Station pretty hard as well. And we take a look at their tokenomics. Again, this is what we're looking at when we see their two main tokens here as far as utility and kind of more of a governance token with Senate. But one thing that Sidus Heroes has always been insane about is burning. They burn a lot of the supply pretty quickly within their ecosystem. And within the last 30 days alone, we saw Sidus Heroes in November. They burnt 11.4% of the total Sidus supply. So, they went ahead and burned another 2.4 billion of the Sidus, which is pretty insane for an ecosystem. A lot of ecosystems, we see do some buyback and burns, and it's relatively a smaller amount. But Sidus Heroes, I remember I believe earlier this year, if not end of last year, you can find it on the channel, they burnt like a third of their supply on both the tokens here, but that's not all, so obviously we're seeing a lot of the price appreciate in the Sidus token because of this massive 10% burn, the end of last month. And then even the beginning of this month, a couple days ago, they did already pass the vote to burn 14.8% of the Senate token as well. So they are doing massive burns, for both tokens here, Senate and Sidus alike. If we actually take a look and scroll down a little bit, we can see just how much that they have burnt of their supply, for both tokens here. If we take a look at it, on December 3rd, they say, the current status of both of them. So total tokens burned as of the end of November 2024. If we take a look at the Sidus token, they've burnt about 37% of the max supply, which is huge. I mean, name another ecosystem on this quality, on this scale, that's been around for this long, that's burning over a third of their supply just pretty casually. I mean, it's insane. And obviously, as you can expect, with less tokens on the market, kind of increases the demand and the price just appreciates. That's kind of the theory, kind of what we're seeing here, over the 1 month on both these, projects. Obviously we see that Senate has a lot less tokens in circulation than something like Sidus does, but still 37% of the Sidus token burnt of the max supply, 36% of the max supply of Senate burnt as well. Those are huge numbers. Again, those are pretty staggering, especially for an ecosystem that's building out quality like this. Now, when we take a look at what they're focusing on, what they're integrated into right now is Ton Station. We've talked about Ton Station in other dedicated videos, but it does have the potential to be one of the top gaming kind of protocols within, Ton, Telegram app as well. You can actually go ahead and still get in here. You can farm some points. They have their airdrop coming up here soon. I think their TGE for their soon token is supposed to be like mid-December. That's something we'll cover in a future video, but we did cover this airdrop opportunity in the past as well. So comment below if you've been farming your soon tokens. But we see that Ton Station is kind of built by, a collaboration of Superverse, which is a huge, gaming giant in the space. We already know that. If we take a look at the gaming sector, we can find Superverse right here, sitting at almost $1 billion circulating market cap. Now, when we take a look at Superverse at $1 billion market cap, they're also partnered with Sidus Heroes on this as well, incubating Ton Station. So I do think Ton Station is going to do, pretty well, especially if the Telegram narrative does kick off again that we saw earlier in the year. And I think they're launching at a super low market cap as well. But again, that's for another video. I don't want to get too hard into Ton Station, but that is just what, Sidus Heroes has been up to. And also a big thing with Sidus Heroes, obviously they have the partnership with, Superverse building Ton Station, but they're also obviously talked about in pics of big influencers like Elio Trades, Alex Becker in the space, and the fact that they still keep doing these massive token burns. Again, that is nothing but bullish to me, in my opinion. You can take part in these votes with the Senate token, the DAO token, and they always put out constant updates. I mean, they have like 1 million followers on Twitter as well, which makes sense. The project is quality. It's been around for quite a while. This is one of those projects, as far as the gaming space that goes, something that's been around since 2021. We've already seen it break its previous all-time high and, honestly demolish its previous all-time highs already early on in this cycle alone. Now, I do think that Sidus Heroes is going to make another run-up. When? I don't know. Obviously, we're seeing gaming coins pick up, but I don't think, we've seen those major catalysts in the gaming sector, like the launch of the gun token for Gunzilla, like some kind of, real-world Web 2 release of like some kind of big game like GTA 6 or Rockstar having some kind of crypto involvement or something like a Fortnite, something like that. We haven't seen those major catalysts yet. What we're seeing right now is just liquidity coming in from the overall market kind of picking up and altcoin season, finally becoming to a start. So again, when we take a look at that, I think that projects like Cidus that are doing nothing but the right things, again, in my opinion, nothing is financial advice, just giving you guys my opinion. I think there's plenty of room for upside here as well. They have a very active team. They're in Neo Tokyo, so when we take a look at it, someone like Alex Becker that has the following that he does, whenever this guy, Alex Becker, makes a video, if he were to talk about something like Sidus Heroes or the Senate token, you can imagine the price impact that it potentially will have on, on these projects because of their low market cap. Now, between the two, obviously, there's always a question of which one should you buy. I can't tell you that. Obviously, one is way lower in market cap than the other, but when we take a look at the Sidus token, we can see it is still at a $65 million market cap, but it got up to 130 million, again, earlier this year, last time we saw gaming really kick off, and throughout the summertime, it did kind of just trade, pretty stagnantly. You had all this time, as we're saying, on so many gaming altcoins in these recent videos, because gaming is picking up again. You had so much time to accumulate if you just had the conviction. And again, we were here telling you guys this all summer, but I think you're still early? I do. I think that both these tokens still have plenty of upside. Are you as early as you were 90 days ago? Well, obviously not, but I still think you're early. Now, I'm not saying FOMO into anything. These have obviously had pretty big run-ups, but I think at a sub $100 million market cap, I still think Sidus has a lot of room to go. But if you were to ask me between the two, I've always been pretty vocal about Senate. I think Senate is definitely the underdog as far as market cap goes in this ecosystem. I mean, it was pretty easy to see that when it did like a 30x, 25, 30x at, the end of 2023. But obviously, with it being a lower market cap, the risk is a little bit higher there than doing something like Sidus at a market cap that's about 6 or 7 times the size of the Senate token. But when we take a look at the dilution, one, there's a lot less tokens in supply, which is why we see the price a lot higher. But when we take a look at Sidus, there is about, a little over, it's like 60%, a little over a 2x percent, or a little over a 2x in dilution between the circulating supply and the FDV. But both of them have huge token burns, as we just covered, and I think they're going to continue doing those token burns as well. So that might not be an issue. A lot of the vesting obviously has occurred throughout the multiple years this project's been around. So dilution isn't really a big deal, but when you look at something like Senate, with still its FDV at 14 million, sub $15 million FDV, there's plenty of room for growth here, guys. I mean, there really is. And again, you had so much time, to get this thing sub 5 million over the summertime, and it's still sub 10 million now. Again, you're still early. If Sidus, for an example, not saying this is going to happen, but as an example, if Sidus Heroes with the Sidus token did happen to go to 500 million, in an extreme bullish case, maybe even $1 billion, let's say that, their game really kicks off, gaming gets really insane as a narrative run, and big influencers like Elio Trades and Alex Becker brings them up quite often in a full-blown gaming altcoin season run, then we could see something like Sidus get to $1 billion with their Sidus token. That means that something like Senate, to me, if the main token Sidus gets to $500 million to $1 billion, I think Senate will have a huge catch-up trade, maybe getting to a couple $100 million to catch up to the Senate token, which at a sub $10 million market cap, you can do the math. It doesn't take much if the main token does a 10x. I think something like Senate at such a smaller market cap, about 7x down, could have the potential to do a little bit more gains than the Sidus token. But again, the risk is definitely there, with it being such a lower market cap. And I think when people look at the ecosystem, they primarily look at the Sidus token. But I do think that Senate, has huge burns. It's primarily the token that you use for the governance to actually vote on, big burn events like this. They actually do use the Senate token. But either way, guys, that is Sidus Heroes. Just a quick update with what they're doing recently. They're still doing those huge burns, which, again, in my opinion, is only a positive thing for an ecosystem. And we covered it when they first decided to burn 30% of their supply. I don't think there's another ecosystem that has gone ahead and done huge burns like this. And they're partnered up with Superverse, which, again, at $1 billion market cap is pretty insane to help kind of incubate and build out Ton Station. If you're not farming the Ton Station, the Soon points, the Soon token, get in there. You still have plenty of time. Now, at this point, if you're to start farming today till the TGE, who knows what you're going to earn? Obviously, with any airdrop, I wouldn't expect to earn a lot. If you do, that's just icing on the cake. But get in there. It's completely free. You can just, it's Telegram. It's a pretty quick tapper game, but you get in there, complete some quests, play the jump pump game every day, It's completely free, and you know, this thing is launching, I believe, at a 7 mil FDV with full circulation, so plenty of room to grow. I believe that's the tokenomics correctly, but correct me if I'm wrong. And as always, if you guys have any questions or your opinion on Sidus Heroes or anything we covered in today's video, please feel free to comment them below. Where do you think Sidus Heroes is going to go? Where do you think Sidus and Senate, both tokens, you know, are going to go this bull market? Are you bullish, bearish? Or if you have any questions on Ton Station, please let me know as well. And as always, if you want to know what I'm doing in these markets or just an optional way of supporting the channel, I do have the Patreon linked below, or there is a free Discord you can get in there and chat. And if you want access to me one-on-one, you can do that via the private channels, via the Patreon. And as always, thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys could like the video, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, see you guys.